and AKA man of the people. Why? Because I love working for the fans of the Carolina Panthers. And today we got another edition of Ask Me Your Carolina Panthers Questions. And this week I tried to do something different, right? Look at the title. And by the way, you might have saw like several broadcasts out there. I'm sorry. I got a little welcome back to Charlotte problem. So you're here. But the title of this one was, should we be removing the interim title from head coach Steve Wilks? So we're going to get into that. But nevertheless, it's a Victory Monday, as you can see. I know you guys have asked about the shirt. And no, I'm not going to resume selling these shirts. But for those of you who grabbed it, throw it on today. Have a good time. And heck, now with this new coach, we might be able to wear this thing more than one time or two. I'm also going to tell you in advance to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help us get to 6,000 subscribers. And I can't hide it any longer. You probably already noticed that your boy does not sound 100%. The reason, we'll certainly get into it, but it's called poor planning of an itinerary, jet lag, and everything else that you could imagine that my body has lost the battle to. But we're still going to do what we do. And hey, this show is live for the biggest reason of all, interacting with you guys. So there's a link in the description. Click on it. I mean, if there's now a time to come on the show, good things, bad things, vent, I think it's a good time to come on the show. So click on that link, join us on the show. And without further ado, let me see. I'm afraid I'm not going to get it right, but let me try to do this right here. Hit this button here, come here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the world, I introduce to you the man known as Andre Cassidy.
Oh, man, what a great introduction there, man. I'll tell you what, Miss Chris.
That's all right.
I'm a little jet lag myself, and I didn't even travel. But it's good to be with you today, Chris, especially on a Victory Monday, like your shirt says. I'm feeling vibes today, and yeah, we're here, and we're here to chat for all of you out there today. So, like the man said, leave your comments, ask away, whatever it is on the top of the minds that are on all of yours. Let it be heard, because we are here for you tonight for the next short while.
Yeah, we'll go to the top of the hour. For many reasons, I don't think I'm going to be able to go longer than that, but we'll go to the top of the hour. And, you know, for those who might have caught the post-game show yesterday, you probably saw that my weakness in terms of my voice coming, because I think I was only able to do that post-game show for about 20 minutes yesterday before I had to wrap it up. But, you know, that's why we have co-hosts like Andre Cassidy. He's able to, in times like this, you know, I'm going to be drinking my tea from right here. He's able to hold it down.
Yeah, man.
So
and it's good that you came prepared with the tea, because with your voice sounding the way that it is right now, it's always good to have a cup of green tea to go alongside with it.
You got to. So anything that you guys want to talk about, we're going to talk about. Let me go ahead before I lose the voice. Give some shout outs here. Lonzo, what's going on? AJ Lindsay, Sam, what's going on? We got a new one here. I don't believe I've seen this one before. Ken, Carolina. I like the way you did it with the K's. Creative. See? You can't see that I said that with a K, but I said creative with a K.
The alliteration there, I must say.
Underground West says Victory Monday. Donna's pretty happy. So Donna's one of the people that has the Victory Monday shirt. So Donna, I guess you are wearing your Victory Monday shirt today. And like I said, we might get to wear it more than one time. And then we got some other comments here that start to get into it. So before we get into it too much, let's have some personal conversation about why your voice sounds like he sounds, right? Let's talk about it. So Andre asked me,
Story time.
Hey, did you get any rest? Did you get any sleep? And I said, well, I don't know how you want to define that. So here's what I did the other day. Long story short is I did not get an ideal itinerary going to Seattle. The reason is because I was watching the fairs and I was like, okay, I always fly American. I think anybody who lives in Charlotte can easily understand why. But the prices changed. And I said, oh, crap. Well, they'll go back down. So I waited like 3 or 4 days. Prices didn't go down. And I was like, man, I got to go to Seattle. So it is what it is. So I flew United out there and I flew JetBlue back. But there was a few things about it that I didn't like. But I'm like, hey, man of the people, you just got to eat it up. My flight left out of Charlotte at I think 6:50. I know I had to get up at like 4:15 in my house Saturday morning to head out to Seattle. So I got up at 4:15, go to the airport, do all the stuff, get on the plane. First leg is from Charlotte to Chicago.
Okay.
Wasn't too bad. Pretty short layover, so I was like, oh, this is cool. Probably, it was such a short layover. Pretty much, I walked straight to the other terminal and had to get on a plane. Then it's Chicago to Seattle. And I might forget some things. There's a little bit of a blur. But I think there was not any problems there, right? But I get to Seattle, probably about 11 o'clock Seattle time. It did take a god-awful amount of time to get my rental car. Like at least 30 minutes, if not 40 minutes. And then here's a little funny part. So it's been 2 times in my life that I've got the really cool luxury upgrade, Andre, right?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, so I was upgraded to a convertible Mustang. And I'm like, when she offered it to me, I said, you know what, if it gets me out of here, I'll take it. But how much fun can you have in a convertible Mustang in December?
In Seattle.
In Seattle when it's raining. But I took it. So that was like 11 o'clock. Well, actually, by that time, I don't know what time it was. But it's a 3-hour time difference. And I didn't eat pretty much at all that day.
Oof.
Outside of the muffin that I left, I maybe had, let's say, at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Until what felt like dinner, but was actually lunch. I had lunch in Seattle at the oldest Chinese restaurant in Seattle. I think probably around 2 o'clock Seattle time. So that was 5 o'clock Charlotte time.
So that's dinner time, basically, right there.
Right.
You.
But I'm going to zoom through this to say, here's the issue with my flight. Never take a layover flight when you're going someplace far and you're not going to be there but maybe a day and you're going to come back. So basically, if you got a long flight, short time that you get there and you're coming right back, go nonstop. Even if it costs you more, go nonstop. It's worth it because you'll be like I am, which means so after the game, I had to fly back. My flight didn't leave Seattle until midnight. So I'm still up. Like I woke up Sunday morning early to go to the game, probably like 7 o'clock in the morning, which is probably, I guess, 4 o'clock here. I don't know. I forget at this point. But I've been up since 7 o'clock Seattle time. The flight didn't leave till midnight Seattle time. It got pushed to 3 in the morning Seattle time.
Oh, wow.
They switched me to a 10 o'clock Seattle time that then flew to New York this morning, that then had 3-hour layover in New York, that then flew to Charlotte, and I got here around noonish. Around noonish. I got home around 1 o'clock-ish. Was dead to the world till about 4. No, I'm sorry, about 4 when I had to get up and go get the kids. And now I'm here. So I know that I went a little bit longer than I probably should have made it, but the struggle is real. Again, moral of the story, if you have a long flight and a short duration, it's ludicrous to try to take layovers because I was probably in airports and planes for 15 hours, 20 hours, 15, 20 hours.
Just about, yeah.
And I was in Seattle probably technically about 30 hours still. Anyway, it was terrible. That's it. All right, it's back to you guys.
But nevertheless, I mean, that sounded like a hike. I mean, when you're in a situation like that, sometimes it's just better to just go all the way through and get it all done in one go, because when you have all these stops and you're trying to get back, you're just trying to get home, and that's all you're thinking about is getting back home. And when there's stops in the way of that, that's what makes you even more tired.
I'm going to tell you this. No lie. When I got to the airport, and I sat there for about an hour, ate some food before I even went to the security because I'm like, there's no point. Like, I think I got to the airport around, let's say, 7. Flight doesn't leave until what was scheduled to be at midnight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, around 8 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and go through security, get my boarding pass. And they tell me that my flight's been changed to 3 in the morning. And at that point, I was like, I'm just going to have to break the bank and I'm just going to buy whatever ticket on whatever airline that is nonstop from Seattle to Charlotte because I cannot sit here till 3 in the morning and then
Doing
get this.
God knows what, right?
Right.
I mean, what is there to do with like 6 hours in the airport?
Yeah. I got there like 6 or 7 and I was till 3 and I'm already dead tired. But fortunately, things were. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough. I'll answer questions that you guys have about my day or everything if you want. But we're here excited because it's Victory Monday. Congratulations to Coach Steve Wilks, who has won 2 games in a row. Congratulations to Steve Wilks, who's won a game on the road. Congratulations to Steve Wilks, who beat a team that wasn't in the NFC South. All those things happened yesterday. And we're going to take a quick glimpse at the current NFC South standings here. Is this updated? Yes, it is updated. So Tampa Bay is up top. Carolina's in second, tied with Atlanta, and then followed by New Orleans. So are you saying there's a chance? Absolutely there's a chance. But I don't know how easy it's going to be. But nevertheless, all right, I feel like I'm rambling. I probably am. Andre, feel free to tell me I'm rambling. It's the jet lag if I ramble. Let's go ahead and get to it. All right, let's see. Jay got the juice says the interim title should have been removed when we started being competitive in these games, win, lose, or draw. Let's see what else we got here. Hi, Chris. We're the most dangerous, scary team in the NFC, along with the Lions, that no one would want to see us make the playoffs. This team is dangerous. All right, before I
will
really
say, yeah, Shaquille, it's funny that you say that now because I know like a month ago there was a different tone in your voice when you were speaking about this team, but it just goes to show how things can change in literally a week's time. You know how fast things can change. I mean, you're not wrong when you say that. I mean, Detroit's another team that's going to be pretty interesting to watch whom we play after the Steelers game the following Saturday after next week. So that will be an interesting matchup. But this is a pretty unique position that we're in right now. And I'll say for Chris and I, a pretty exciting position that we're in.
yes, things get to be exciting once again. All right, let me read something to you all that's very, very important about this whole Steve Wilks situation and him having that interim title removed. So we're basically talking about it today more so just as in should he get the head coaching job. But I'm also going to educate you guys and let you know about why technically he cannot get this title right now, okay? So even though Coach Wilks is a minority, the Rooney Rule still applies, meaning that the team still has to interview minorities, 2 external minority candidates for the job. He is not automatically considered one of those candidates. I mean, if they interview him, then he's one, but they can't just give him the title because he's a minority, blah, 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 and make him that. They have to go through the process still. And then if any of those candidates are employed by other teams, in-person interviews cannot be conducted until the conclusion of the wild card round of the playoffs. So I wanted to get that out there to you in terms of the technical reason why, and also point out again that though he's a minority, they still have to go through the process of what the Rooney Rule says, which is to interview at least 2 minority candidates. So hopefully that was some education for those of you out there. Andre, you ready?
Yeah, well, and that was a question that I had too. Could they even do that? And I think that just answered it right there. But I mean, a lot of people that's what they were talking about after yesterday's game. But technically, you can't do that until after the season is over, and you have to go through the whole process before you could actually go forward in doing that.
And I think the biggest one for everybody is though, even though he is, they still have to go through that process.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Throw some questions up here for you. Can you see those and read them?
It's a little delayed, so
Okay. Andre Cunningham says, "Why do you think
yeah.
when we win
There
that
we go.
most media don't give us the credit like we should have?"
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good question. I mean, and you look at the predictions for yesterday's game. I mean, literally across the board, it was all Seattle uh, projecting, to be victorious yesterday. But it turned out that Carolina surprised a lot of people and played it the way that they did yesterday. But I think part of it is, this was the first win that we had outside of our division, so we're still kind of building that resume, if you will, of the legitimacy of this team. We play a certain way. We have a certain formula that we have to have in order for, like guys like Sam Darnold, in order for him to be successful, they have to play a certain way. So I think as they continue to build that resume, and that's the same thing with Steve Wilks as well, as they continue to build it up, there'll be more of a respect from the national media, but we just haven't seen it yet because, again, there's still things that the team needs to see in order to gain that respect that you're talking about in that question there.
Yeah, and furthermore, with that question, we're fans, we're here, we're local. We know we want this team to turn it around. But if you were not being a homer, so to say, and being local and knowing like you're cheering for it, we've had a terrible record. Right now, we're starting to overcome the odds. So as you're going from being a terrible record, having Baker Mayfield start, having him with the worst ratings of a quarterback, having, I think it was Cincinnati that just beat us down unmercifully, then nobody, as they should not say nationally, looking from the outside in, oh, these guys rank them high because they can win, because they could turn it around. You'll start to see more as we turn it around, but you're still, and I feel deservingly, so you're still not going to see a lot because we're excited because we're the home team. But come on, if you lived in Dallas, Philly, any other major city, Chicago, are you going to be like, hey, that Carolina Panthers team is great. They made the playoffs with a losing record. Let's talk about that team. Like, it's not the number one story that you would go to from a national perspective, but I am happy from a local standpoint that we're getting those victories.
But also from a national media perspective too, and it was starting to become talked about more this week. I mean, it's a feel-good story to see Steve Wilks turning around this team from where they started. I mean, 1-4 when Coach Rule got fired to where they are now. It is a feel-good story. Is it legitimate though? Is it something that you'll have like Sunday night football games over or Monday night football games, national media games over? I don't know, but I mean, it definitely is starting to become one of those situations where it's gaining traction because of the turnaround that this team has had in such a short period of time.
Man, I'm fading. I'm fading. So, and this is. I know I'm going to be all over the place. I'm sorry, but I want to share one thing before I forget because we have a lot of comments that are coming through. Andre and I have been busting our butts all season to have a moment like this where there's so many comments. So we are extremely excited. My man Andre is going to have to handle most of them because my voice is probably not going to make it. But I want to share one other cool thing about, I love to tell stories about behind the scenes and doing my job. I think it's a blessing to have this job covering the Carolina Panthers. And yesterday while in Seattle.
It's like, yeah, that actually happened yesterday. It feels so long ago.
It's like, I've been all over the world, man. I've flown on 3 airlines in the past 48 hours just to go there and come back. But nevertheless, I learned that I was near David Tepper's suite. And I was like, personally just thinking, well, this is cool. And I end up doing my live video pregame show in an area not far from his suite. and it was pretty funny to see him come out. So I'm going to try to play this moment for you really quick. I'm telling Andre, I hope, because Andre said he walked behind us in Atlanta, which he did. But in Seattle the other day, he actually like said some comments and kind of like peeked. He was like 6 inches from me. And I'm going to tell you guys, I failed you as man of the people because I should have been able to say, hey, can I get one comment from you? You know, not saying he would have made it, but I should have tried. But I was a little bit like, am I about to get in trouble? What is he about to say? So I failed you, but I'm going to play that for anybody that missed it. And this is going to be David and his wife, Nicole, walking by me yesterday while I was doing my live video. So give me a second to make sure I cue it up properly. Let's see. Yesterday was December 11th. Here we go. Oh, that's the beginning. I know you guys can, let's see, I'm going to scroll up to about, let's see. That's pretty good. I just got distracted from telling some people that they could walk by, so let me make sure I look at my notes. I think it was about, all right, here we go. I just passed. Get some victories. Happy about that. All right, so I think that I have it queued at the right spot. Watch the background. Watch me, and you'll see. Hopefully, I just queued this up properly. All right, here we go. All right, so I didn't queue it up as properly as I thought, but I'm just going to be quiet. And here you're going to see what happened yesterday. I think it was at the 12:22 mark. All right, so hold on. Let me go back to it. Let's see. You guys can hear me right now. It was. All right, here we go. And we're also going to talk about where we currently stand within the NFC South here in just a couple of seconds. And then we have the things to watch that are going to be for. How you doing, sir? Pretty good. So did you see how all of them were kind of like?
They were like eyeing you down too. I was like, hey, like what's going on over here? It's like, is he invading on y'all's privacy or something? Like, what's going on? They were like all looking at you.
Yeah, and the way that they just kept.
They made it look so obvious too.
Peeking their head, and then the last guy, I don't know if that was like his security guy. He looked like he was really about to say, like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Or maybe they were like watching themselves be on television. I don't know, like.
First of all, that'd be a pretty bad security guy, Chris. Let me just say that. You see how short that dude was?
Hey, it was cool, man. It was cool. So that's it for my going off course. We got about 30 minutes left. Andre, I'm gonna let you again steer this ship. We got a lot of comments. I'm gonna speed through them. I'm gonna toss them up. Gonna let you hit them and go through them from there. All right. So let's keep it going here.
So what are we at, Leonard? I think I got it pulled up.
Let's see. It says, Chris, your voice is weak because of the excitement of yelling yesterday, just like the rest of the Panthers Nation. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to yell in the press box. And there was some great. I think I'm just going to talk too much. So, I'm going to tell you, Seattle has the home field advantage, and they kind of used it a few times yesterday. There were a few plays, right, where you were immediately looking for the instant replay. And we were in the press box where, in Charlotte, we can't see the scoreboards. In Seattle, I can see all the scoreboards, right? So it'd be a play that happened, like, let's say Terrace Marshall play. Or it was several plays where you're like, oh, what's going to happen? We need to see the replay. In Seattle, man, every single time, they almost immediately show a replay after every play, right? Like, very quick. But as soon as it gets to the part of the play that you want to look at to really figure out what happened, they cut it every single time. It was like, and all the media were like, are you serious? Like, what are they? They don't show the full replay. So they put the coaches at a little bit of a disadvantage out there in Seattle when it comes to the big screen and watching replays. And there was a few guys in the press box that were, of course, Seattle members. And Andre, you're not allowed to cheer. And yeah. I forget exactly what happened, but something happened in favor of Carolina. And the guy just said something. Everybody's like, because he said it really loud. Like,
right.
He wasn't happy with the play. And then the funniest thing after that, when he saw everybody turn around, he said, oh, I'm sorry, everybody. I still have my headphones on, so that was probably loud. I'm like, yeah, you were pretty loud, man.
Yeah, he played it off pretty good by saying that.
All right, let's keep on going. Leonard says, good evening, Chris, Andre, Panthers Nation. Happy Victory Monday. Sorry to hear of your bad flight on the way home, and my luggage got tore up. But again, I'm going to stop making this about me. Ken Carolina says, keep pounding.
Keep pounding, yes.
Let's see. Like to share as many of these comments as I can.
Hmm.
Taylor Sheridan says, good to see you back, Chris. It was gloomy in Seattle for a convertible. Yeah.
Just a little bit, right?
You know what? I did put the top down when I was at my hotel long enough to see how it worked, and then I put it back up. So
It's just too cold too.
it
That was
was
the other aspect of it too.
wasn't gonna work, but it said, I bet it was a long flight home for you, short flight for me from California. Oh yeah,
Oh wow,
yeah.
yeah.
If you were going to California, you had a short
That's
flight.
like an hour right there,
Yeah.
if that.
Where did? She didn't say. They didn't
Yeah,
say where
we're
they're
in
going in
Cali.
Cali, but yeah, I guess unless you're going down to San Diego, it's pretty short. But even if you are going to San Diego, it's a lot shorter than what I had. Josh Rousey, what up, Chris? Hope you feel better. Sound like you may have caught a cold. Victory Monday was sweet though. So yeah, my wife was missing me a lot while I was gone, but she was like, I don't know if I want to kiss you. You look pretty bad. It sounds like you might have the cooties. I was like, come on, like you're sending me all these non miss yous and I'm home, and she's like, I'll kiss you on the cheek, and I'm like, I'm not sick. It's just fatigue. It's all it is. It's like it's a fatigue thing. But nevertheless, appreciate your wishes there, Josh.
Oh man, that's pretty funny
Eh,
though.
My man
It's like
Panther
back.
Pickle.
It's like back up.
Yeah, she's like, back up. Like, no, I missed you. Panther Pickle, what's going on? Donna B saying, what airline? I flew United, JetBlue, and American. I flew 3, but I got back. Josh Rousey, love the shirt. Appreciate you. JD864. So what you're saying is you should be knocked out right now. Man of the people, for real. Yes.
He is for real. I mean, look what he's gonna. Well, look what he had to go through the past like 48 hours to get to Seattle, and then to come back to Charlotte, and then to be able to come on here 7 Eastern, rolling off of like maybe 3 hours of sleep, if that. That's dedication right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, so Andre, when you asked me about sleep, I was like, so if you want to say in the bed, if we want to say in the bed sleep, well then no, I haven't had any since I woke up yesterday at 7:30 Seattle time. This was the last time I was in a bed. I did not get the chance to sleep in a bed last night. But I appreciate you. So just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Do a super
That's why
chat.
we're here, man. That's why we are here.
What's happening, Chris and Andre?
What's going on, Rodney? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the support.
All right, so go ahead and talk about this comment here, Andre. Paul Mancini, hopefully I said it right. Coach Wilks is
Yeah.
4-4 so far in his 8 games as a head coach. Go Panthers. So talk about your feelings as well, Andre, in terms of Coach Wilks becoming, interim Coach Wilks becoming head coach Wilks.
I'll tell you what, the seat is warming up, but in a good way for him. For the other guy, the seat was hot, but for all the wrong reasons. So 4-4 through 8 games. Matt Rule in his first 2 seasons registered 5 victories in 17 games. First season being 16, but yeah, I think for Steve Wilks, he is adding to the resume. He is building a culture and an identity that this team was lacking at the beginning of the season. We didn't know what Carolina was through the first 5 or 6 games of the year, and they were still trying to figure that out. In 8 games for Coach Wilks, not only has that been figured out, that has been like the calling card for the team. When you think of keep pounding, of course, you think of Sam Mills and everything associated with that. But keep pounding actually means something to this team. Running the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling the opponent's running attack and what they do. I mean, it is so amazing what he's been able to do in such a short period of time. He's got the players believing, and part of the reason why he's got the players believing is because he's blunt, he's upfront, and he's not afraid to say what is on his mind because that is what he expects out of everybody else. So I think for Coach Wilks, if he keeps on keeping on here over these last couple of games left in the year, I think you'll be looking at head coach Steve Wilks for 2023 and moving forward.
Yeah, and as he gives him the tough love, he also embraces him. I know today he talked about also supporting the guy because you know that everybody's not perfect, and his job as a coach is also to be a teacher, and everybody learns differently. And the example of the players that you could reference that in is Shi Smith has struggled, but he stood behind him. C.J. Henderson he stood behind him. And Eddie Pinheiro, everybody was ready to crucify after Atlanta, and he embraced him. And Eddie Pinheiro, I didn't even realize this. He has one of the best field goal percentages in the NFL. And that's impressive. And a few other things I want to give before, again, the voice goes out. DJ Moore had an MRI done on his ankle, and they're going to be waiting to see on Wednesday. They'll probably know before then, but they don't have to officially let us know, the media know, until Wednesday about his health there. Didn't want to speak about what he may do if that he's not able to go. Me personally, I think things could get better, kind of like a Christian McCaffrey type thing, because I haven't had a chance to go back and really look at the tape. But yesterday, Andre, when I was in the press box watching that game, I did not like the routes that DJ Moore was running. And I know that he's been a deep threat. And I usually don't get too technical in my analysis of the games, but a lot of times yesterday in the press box, I could see, you know, Darnold had time, but he didn't have all day. He did have some decent amount of pressure, right? So he needed to get the ball out, not super quick, but relatively quick. My nose is running. You guys are going to see me wipe my nose with my sleeve. It's live TV. I can't help it. On the plane today, a lady offered me a tissue because my nose is running. But several times, DJ Moore was open, but he was running such a deep route that his back was to Sam. And there's no audible that Sam could do once the play's in motion to say, hey, turn around. And he can't throw it early because they have no eye contact because DJ's back is to him. But for those of you that can, I'm going to see what I can do to show it to you. But again, I felt like yesterday, part of the problem that DJ Moore and having 0 receptions was the route that they were having him run. And I know last week he kind of got back on track. He had over 100 yards. He had a deep ball. But I don't think you should just only put him in a position to catch a deep ball where he can't get any other play in the game. And one other thing that I'll touch on is Steve Wilks today made a plea to the fans to say, hey, come out to this game. Pittsburgh Steelers is a fan base that travels well. But he's like, come out to this game. So I don't know if I'm ready to talk about my opinion of if he should get the job or not, because I know I can get caught up in the moment. I want to give you guys something pretty objective and professional. But the way that he appealed to the fans, it's like I feel like he smells it. Like he's not going to say it, but I feel like he smells it that he's about to get another opportunity to get a head coaching job in Carolina. He was so emotional yesterday. And when you say so emotional for Steve Wilks, you're not going to get it as you would think from most people. You're just going to hear like these cracks appears in his voice where, maybe he's talking a little bit louder like this than he normally talks. And but appealing to the fans to come out, this guy knows like, hey, I got something rolling right now. I got this snowball that's about to get bigger and bigger. I got my guys believing and they're fighting hard. And if I get that stadium full on Sunday and get that crowd behind it, I can do this. So, yeah, I'm going to turn it back over to Andre because now I've just talked so much. My nose is running. My voice is about gone.
That's a pretty bold appeal that he made, though, because, again, you do realize and you start to feel something is changing. There's a tide that's turning. That snowball that you're speaking about, Chris, it has the potential to become an avalanche if things continue to go the way that they are going. But yeah, even in the press conference last night after the game, I mean, he's not a very emotional guy, in front of the podium. But behind the scenes, you can feel how big of a moment this was for him, how big of a moment it was for the team, because there were a lot of things that they were able to break away from, right? First win outside of the NFC South. The first time that the Panthers have actually won a game when they gave up more than 17 points to opponent. They finally broke out that streak, a streak that was nearly 2.5 years old. The last time that happened was when they beat Arizona 31-21 back in Matt Rule's first year as head coach. I mean, there was a lot of firsts that took place yesterday. First road win. So they're creating a lot of ripples and cracks in this glass ceiling that he's trying to break in order to get that opportunity. And I think he's well on his way. But of course, we have to be objective and we have to make sure that we're not getting too far ahead of this. But it's looking promising at this point.
Let me throw this comment on the screen. Leonard Kowalski, we control our own destiny. I'll take it. I keep saying I'm going to let Andre talk, but this is how much I love my job. My wife's probably going to be mad at me once I get off here. She's like, you used all your voice and remaining energy on that darn show. I'm sorry, but I got.
You sure did.
I got to give the people some information. I didn't travel out there for nothing.
Right.
So Leonard says we control our own destiny. I'll take it. I'm going to throw this up here one more time. You'll see we are one game behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And yeah, we do control our own destiny. And it has to be, I'm just going to put this in perspective now. We automatically think of that season where, Ron Rivera went on this streak. I forget how many games it was. Andre, you might be able to chime in. Do you remember how many in a row we won to close out the season?
Back in 2014, I believe it was 4 straight games to finish it out. We were 3-8-1 that year, and then we finished at 7-8-1 in order to take the division.
That wasn't Ron's first year, right?
Oh, you're talking about his first year.
No. I'm saying the year that he put on that string of victories towards the end to make it to the playoffs.
Oh, in 2013?
It wasn't his first year coaching, right?
That was his third year.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I brought that up to say, like, I feel like this is pretty hard. Not that I'm not cheering for him, but this is Steve Wilks' first year. When Rivera had the success in doing that strong finish, still was a poor overall record. He had still a lot in place that he had built. He still had his culture going, and it wasn't like a brand new thing. So I think even though we have that memory of when Rivera did it, it's a little extra hard for Steve Wilks to do it because he's still an interim coach. He still hadn't put everything around him. He's still instilling a culture, but he hadn't even had an off season of doing it. So I think it'll be awesome. I'm going to cheer for it, but it's a big task to go from what we were. This is the first time that we won back-to-back games in this week 14, right? That's tough. Now we're going to be hoping to win. Well, we'll end up being 6 in a row. I'm cheering for it, but it's tough. Let me leave you with this because I don't want to forget it. This is how incredible this has been. Yes, we control our own destiny. Robert Griffin III tweeted this. He said, believe it or not, have you heard this yet, Andre?
I think I saw it last night. Yeah.
Okay. Well, believe it or not, the Panthers actually have a chance to make the playoffs. And let's put this in perspective. He does a great job of putting this in perspective. Mm-hmm. And this is why I said it's not going to be easy. And somebody else talked about why the national media doesn't talk about us. Well, this is also part of why. That's after firing their head coach, defensive coordinator, special teams coach, cornerback coach, defensive line coach, trading Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, and releasing Baker Mayfield. I don't know if that can fit in the screen. All that. We still have a chance after all that has taken place. So in terms of Wilks, I will touch on the fact of my opinion of him having an opportunity to be a head coach. I really feel like this guy should have a neck-and-neck opportunity with any other candidate. I don't feel like you could say any other candidate is a slam dunk over him. I feel like he should be considered pretty equal about anybody that could be out there. All right. We got 10 minutes left. I'm going to put you on the speed zone, Andre. I'm going to read the comments and let you, take a second to respond.
Yeah.
100% we're going to win the NFC South. If I'm wrong, then be it. That's from Shaq Heath, so we can skip.
Yeah, I'm loving the optimism. I think it could happen. If things go the way that they should, then it could very well be a possibility.
All right, my camera just went out, so let me do this to.
Yeah, I was about to say, where'd you go, Chris? I hope it wasn't anything on my end.
Nah, it's all me. Hey, they can hear me but can't see me. Andre, if you could try to run through
Yeah,
those comments for a second, I'm just gonna have you up on the
yeah.
screen.
So as we keep going here, 4 more 12, keep pounding. That is something that we'll continue to do, hopefully, as we start moving forward with the latter part of the season. Paul Mancini, if I pronounce that right or mispronounce that, that's my apologies. Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett will likely not play this week because he is in concussion protocol. A must win for the Panthers, and I think really every game moving forward. All the way through to the end of the season is a must win for Carolina. There is that sense of urgency. Yesterday was a must win for Carolina to even have any sort of remote and realistic chance to stay in the NFC South race. So, that's a big piece of news right there if Kenny Pickett decides not to go for Pittsburgh next week. Shaquille, a month ago, we lost an ugly game to the Bengals. And now look where we are right now. And yeah, like I said earlier in the show, when you were talking about Carolina, Shaquille, you had a pretty negative tone, and within reason. We weren't playing our best football, and look how quickly things can change in a matter of a couple of weeks, literally within a game of the NFC South first place spot in the NFC South. Andrew May says Sammy D is taking us to the playoffs, so Red Beer will be in full effect when we play a home playoff game. And let me just say this too: we haven't really talked a lot about Sam Darnold here tonight, but you got to give him some credit. I mean, I've said this on numerous occasions, and I know Chris has his thoughts on Sam Darnold as well. Sam Darnold needs to have the table set for him, right? Things have to be set up in a certain way for him to be a successful quarterback. He's not a table setter. He is somebody that needs to be part of what the table has been. And the foundation is running the football. And they were able to run to the football effectively, yesterday. And that's part of the reason why Carolina has been able to play well recently under Sam Darnold, is because of the fact that they've been able to protect him. They've been able to run the ball, and that allows him to be able to do the play action game, which gets him in rhythm. And to his credit, too, he has not turned the ball over either. So, he's been really solid in terms of having command of the offense, playing with some poise, and also taking care of the football. There were many times yesterday where, the play wasn't there, and he just simply threw the ball away and, just played to the next down. And I think, for Sam Darnold, that's pretty key in his development. And part of the reason why he's been playing so well is because of the fact that he hasn't been able to be that guy. He can just play within the offense.
Yeah, I'm back. But you're doing good, so I just want to say I'm back, but keep on rolling through it, man.
I had to catch my breath. I was like, man, oh, man. That was a lot that took place there over the past 2.5 minutes.
Hey, so you see how I felt yesterday when I was in Seattle, man. I'm cold and I'm freezing and it's loud. I'm like, man, I need Andre here so I can take a breath, but I couldn't.
Right? But yeah, did you see that comment about Sam Darnold?
Nah, what was it?
Yeah, so he basically said, Mr. Andrew May, that Sammy D is leading us to the playoffs. The red beard will be in full effect when we play a home playoff game.
I mean, Sam can lead us to the playoffs, but it's just by default that he is the quarterback back there. The guys that are leading us to the playoffs are going to be, honestly, Deontay Foreman and the line. That's who's leading us to the playoffs, coupled by a defense that under Holcomb is doing good. We kind of forget the guys that we've lost. I know yesterday pregame I said, man, we're going against is it Lockett is his name on the Seahawks?
Yeah, Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, Lockett
and DK Metcalf.
And Metcalf. Man, it'd be nice to have Dante Jackson back because those are some good receivers. They had put up over 100 yards in their last game, and Geno Smith, he's a good quarterback. But I said this yesterday pregame, and it worked out. Not that I'm saying I'm the best predictor, but I felt like we needed turnovers. I said that pregame, J.C. Horn, I feel is a little underrated. You talk about media national, you don't hear, to me, a whole lot about J.C. Horn, and he's really, really good. And so I felt like for us to have an opportunity yesterday in Seattle, we would need to get turnovers. We need to take the ball away from them, not just play good ball on both sides. And we had those takeaways, and it did give us an opportunity to go ahead. But it's a few things that I saw got exposed yesterday. One is I talked about DJ Moore's and his routes. They're having this guy run deep routes where he's open, but Sam doesn't have the time. And by the time he breaks out of his route to be open, Sam's now, nearing full speed running towards the sideline on a rollout and can't hit him. But also for Seattle, they were able to score on us pretty consistently once they went to an up-tempo offense. And our defense wasn't able to respond. So fortunately, towards the end, when they got closer, they slowed it down a little bit. But Sam can lead us, but it's really because of how Steve Wilks is making this team so much of a smash mouth football run first mentality. We'll continue to move through some of these comments here as we get near the end of the show.
Again, he's not a table setter. He's a part of the table. He cannot be the guy because when he is the guy, bad things happen. Let's just be frank about it. He cannot be somebody who can carry an offense. He has to be a part of the system that's at play.
Hey, how did you miss these comments that Tepper was starstruck by Man of the People? I like that. That's pretty good.
Wait, who said that?
Chris is a rock star. They were in awe of you. These were some good comments. Tepper trying to camera bomb. Yeah.
Which has happened twice now. So we're banking on a third time. Hopefully it happens on Sunday, maybe. I mean, you never know. But, there you go.
Panthers Nation says, let me skim through all these comments really quick. Because we got a bunch out there. So let me just try to.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. I'm not even at halfway through over here. There's a good bit coming in right
Paul
now.
Paul Mancini said the Panthers got some love this morning on NFL and ESPN channels, as they haven't picked the Panthers to win all season. Yep. Jarius Barringer, hopefully I didn't say your name too incorrectly. He says that Carolina is favored against Pittsburgh this week. I wish they weren't much preferred in an underdog situation. Now, I will say this. Steve Wilks ain't going to let those guys get focused on the fact that Carolina may be favored. The way that guy leads and talks, I think he might get those guys. I'm going to stick my foot up your butt if there's any guy in this room that starts to pay attention to the outside noise because we got 2 victories in a row. I feel like I'm going to my Steve Wilks impersonation. This might be what he says, right? I'm going to put my foot in your butt if you guys start to lose focus. We got here by believing in us and by staying focused on us and by staying focused on what's next. So let's take that mentality. Again, just trying to run through some of these comments so I can get through as many as I can. Panthers Nation, do you think Wilks should have challenged that second Horn interception? It was really close. I thought it was a deserved challenge. I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I think, it was something that they could have considered doing. I mean, I would have to look back to see at what point of the game, because I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But, if it was in a correct situation where, it could have changed the game, which it probably could have in that situation, it probably could have deserved a challenge. But, like I said, I can't really comment on that because I don't really remember the exact play that he was referring to there.
Okay. Lots of comments. I'm just trying to make it through some of these. KPM says first road win since Super Cam return and the only second win in Seattle franchise history. So we played, that seems like forever ago when we played Arizona.
Right?
I don't remember what point in the season that was, but I know that was okay. So first road win since then, and second win in Seattle in franchise history. The first one was in 2015, was it? With Greg catching that ball from Sam?
Greg Olsen. Yep.
And so in the press box, I can't get a chance to hear the full noise, but it did feel like it was pretty electric. And I tell you this, whenever the Panthers did something, it felt weird because it was so loud. Again, I can't say that it felt really loud, but there was always so much noise going on, like constant noise. And then when Carolina makes an interception, it just goes completely like, and I'm sitting there feeling like, it did happen, right? Like, did something just stop? Because it just gets quiet, like you heard nothing of a Carolina presence of saying, oh, like, because, you usually in Carolina, and this might be why Wilks is begging for it, even when something happens for the other team, there's still normally enough presence there. I'm not saying it's an overwhelming amount, but there's still always enough presence there where you still hear reaction from the crowd. And yesterday to hear like nothing, it literally just went from you hearing, you hear constant noise. Carolina intercepts the ball. It's like somebody hit the mute button.
Silence.
Yeah, just mute button. But that's great that we got that win. Let me continue to get through some of these. Adam Schefter tweeted DJ Moore is considered day-to-day, has a knee sprain.
Ooh, dodged a bullet there, if that's the case.
Oh, you want to look that up, Andre?
Yeah, I'll take a look at that real quick.
Probably true, because Shaquille just tweeted about it too.
Yeah.
Look, I like this comment from Leonard. He says, Cade Mays will lead us to the playoffs. I don't know if you guys could hear it on TV, man, but there was this point yesterday where they seemed like they named every lineman to be eligible. They were like 60-something eligible, 20-something. Or I was like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. All right, so we're gonna wrap up because we are at 8:00. Sorry for starting a little late tonight. Again, the computer just wasn't operating correctly, so we just went and did what we knew would work. So I appreciate you bearing with us there. Appreciate everybody bearing with me on my voice and my red nose, my runny nose, and everything that's going on with me as I try to recover.
Looking like Rudolph, man.
Yeah, as I try to recover. There's a lot of things I want to talk about that we did not get a chance to talk about, but overall, it's great to have this feeling of possibility, to have this feeling of there's a chance, whether we make it or not.
There's hope. There's hope. Thankfully, there is some hope.
There's hope. And, again, we do have DJ Moore, which you guys have said that there was an update. So let me see if I can just get this.
4 hours ago from Adam Schefter, Panthers receiver DJ Moore is considered day-to-day with a knee sprain, which is nothing significant, end quote right there.
Okay.
So that's good news, I would say. I think we dodged a bullet there, I would say.
So for everybody that's still watching, and according to the stats, there's just a few people watching, I'm going to show you David Tepper again. Because I love this video of him being on. He's all up in the camera, man. Just check him out.
Did you see how close he was?
Hey, good morning.
Let's see. It was about. I wish I could play it in slow motion.
It was like the 12:30 mark.
Head coach Steve Wilks may be trying to get that interim tag removed in next year as long as he keeps.
Is he coming now? Let's see.
Moving these categories.
There he is. He's got on the phone. All right. We're moving.
Here comes the entourage.
Up, get some victories. And we're also going to talk about where we currently stand within the NFC South here in just a couple of seconds.
Let's see. What's my favorite part? Look, he slows down, and he's looking. And then Nicole's like, we're on his shot. I don't know. Maybe she's like caring that they're in my shot. What do you think?
Right. Well, first of all, do you realize how close she is to you? She's like less than a foot away from you. She's like looking at your computer. She's being so nosy too.
They get closer.
Right?
And then he's like, oh yeah, we're on his show. And I'm looking, thinking, how close? I think I might need security.
Watch.
Right?
And then this guy's like, yay, we made it.
That are going to be for. How you doing, sir?
They're
pretty
like
good.
On you.
Man.
So
I don't want to lose my credentials, though, making fun of the guy who is a billionaire. But
right?
It was cool.
But it was a special surprise to have him on, right?
Something that you're only going to get when you tune into Charlotte Vibe, right? Hey, if you're watching right now, and I currently show there's quite a few people watching, and you have not hit the like button, I'll wait Andre will wait as well for you to take that moment, hit the like button, show some support for Charlotte Vibe. Hey, tomorrow's an off day. I need it. We'll be back at it on Wednesday, covering this Carolina Panthers team, and that's excitement heading into this game. I also want to plug. I know we're far out, but since I was just showing some clips from the pregame show, we have what I think is a very, very cool thing going here at Charlotte Vibe, where we go live every game before the game and do a pregame show that's live and interactive. We'll talk to you. It's the only media show that does that. You can do the radio, but it's the only video that does it. And that team it's me, Andre Cassidy, and then each and every week we have a special guest by the name of Rashad from Panther Nation Podcast that joins. So we got a 3-person panel that we go live. We talk about some things, have some great conversation. Last time we did it, we had to laugh a lot because we were losing. I think this week we'll be able to. There's my video going out again. I don't know why my video wants to go out again. Let me fix this.
But to finish what you were saying, Chris, we get to laugh this time because we're enjoying the opportunity of, for one, being with each other, but also enjoying the chance of us being relevant down the stretch as the season starts to enter probably the most crucial part of the season, the last 4 or 5 games for everybody down the stretch here.
Yeah, and we'll be with you the whole run. Hopefully, I'll get to make some more trips that I was not anticipating with this team making the playoff run. So,
right.
For Andre Cassidy, I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us this evening. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll see you again on Wednesday.
Take care, everybody.